with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Come to us for your news and opinions. We got a voice. There is no choice. Wisdom voice in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast, it's like cruiserweight action. In your house is a perfect distraction. Pop in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smooth.
What's up, guys? What's cracking? The Con Man in your house. We here. We ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are with the shits. Because, hey, we're with the shits. And I'm ready to talk a little wrestling. That is right. You already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, you already know we're here to give you that work when it comes to professional wrestling business. And that is exactly what we intend to do. Guys, you heard it here on the top of the show here. The 3-bell salute for one of our extremely loyal listeners and a friend of mine, Nick Koupal, who recently passed away. And I had heard the news from a couple of friends that I was in a long time group in. It's called the Better Than You Wrestling Discussion. And I've been in that group for at least like 15 plus years. So it was a community of people from around, honestly, the world, and it was just a group of people who would come together on a Facebook discussion and talk professional wrestling. And this group not only was a group about professional wrestling, but it was a group that brought a lot of people together, and a lot of people met through this group and met that were internet friends, became real life friends through this group, Better Than You Wrestling Discussion. And I met a lot of great people, including Nick, who was always such a funny guy and such a kind guy and was passionate about wrestling. I remember being in this group with him years ago, and we would just constantly complain about how terrible Monday Night Raw was and how awful the WWE was, but we would keep watching it. And then things got better, and it was really great for us to discuss it when things got better. So this episode is dedicated to him and his memory. And I know that his mother asked me to make this episode in memoriam of him. And it was already in the works before she even messaged me. And the fact that he felt so passionately about this podcast, it's a great loss to the In Your House community. And we're going to keep his memory alive here by dedicating this episode to him. So with that being said, I'm going to bring in my great team here at In Your House. And of course, that is my co-host and producer here. My first co-host here, that's Hypocrisy Jones. How's it going, bro?
Yo, what is up out there in the household? Like Con said, this episode is dedicated to Nick Koupal, and he's definitely in our thoughts and in our prayers. And I don't want to step on that too much. I just want to be amongst everyone else who remembers him. And even though I didn't know him very well, but I do remember him. I do know his name. I do know that I saw his name often, and it just
right.
It hurts when you lose anybody. And I don't know. I've been through a year of losing people as well, and my heart goes out to anybody who's lost anybody recently through anything.
Yes, man, absolutely. But this episode it's a celebration. It's a celebration of life here, and he loved professional wrestling. So it's okay to feel how anybody feels when it comes to loss, but we're gonna make this one something positive in dedication to him. And with that being said, I'm gonna bring in my other co-host here who also helps produce this show. That is my man, the voice, Josh Joseph. Welcome back, bro.
How goes it, Howse? Huh? Long time no see.
I know, right? We've been running into each other all weekend, bro.
Exactly. And now we got Jones here.
Yes.
And we're here for a special reason, not only because it's a house party, but it's dedicated to a special friend of yours, a special ally out there in the forces of this content talking about WWE. Uh, to the family of Nick, my heart goes out to you. It sucks when things are taken from us, but House says Nick was a great guy, so he's got a spot here. I can't wait to get this show going. Household, come on, let's get some parties going. I hear Nick was a fun guy, so
Yes.
let's have a little fun afternoon with everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
man, absolutely. It's gonna be great. And man, we always love to have these house parties, but like I always talk about a guy who likes to have fun and who likes to party. And man, since we're having a big party here, we're having a big celebration here for my man. We had to bring in one of my favorite party animals. He's been known as a world star in his life, and that is, of course, the world's most dangerous podcaster, the Emerge World Heavyweight Champion, Paragon, back at In Your House.
Yo, it's me, it's Pissed Off P, and I'm back, Spinal. And if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling and we love Nick. So we about to have a celebration. Enjoy yourself. We're about to get the Rick James of podcasting. Hope y'all
Yes, man. It is going to be great. This is going to be a great episode. And I went ahead and made sure that I put this particular episode in the Better Than You wrestling discussion. So anybody who was in that group or is in that group who can hear my voice, and anybody else that's been in that discussion who is not dropping in on this live, tell them to come in, tell them to leave their favorite memories of Nick. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. He was a great, fun guy. And man, this is a guy who loved his dance parties. In the comments, he loved it, man. He was always a jokester. So like, we're going to have a little dance party here in memoriam of my man, Nick. And if you guys say his name, he appears. Listen, I believe in Joe Hendry.
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah. Come on. Let go. Oh, come on, bring it back. Here we go.
I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. London and Paris.
How do we have all this melon on this podcast? And this is with the dancing that we just saw.
We gonna blame it on the film. It's the internet, like timing and stuff like that. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Internet, bro.
I don't know.
That's why we got the with the chopsticks. Because I was watching what y'all was doing. I'm like, I ain't putting me in there with them.
Yeah.
My man Bubba. We talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. He was a long-time listener of the podcast and a personal friend of mine who I met through groups and Facebook. So he was a great guy, Nick Koupal. And this episode is going to be in dedication of him. And man, what a weekend to talk about wrestling, because there's a lot to talk about. And we have Backlash that just happened. And Backlash was a great event. France really brought it. And me and Voice really kind of dug deep into that show with the live that we did yesterday. Then we got a chance to preview the show ahead of it. It was just a great time to get content done with my man Voice here. And we just took care of business and did it and gave you guys out there in the household extra content. And now we're back here on Sunday to talk about it. And we're gonna get thoughts here from Paragon. We're gonna get thoughts here from my man Hype as far as their thoughts on the show, because they haven't got a chance to come on this platform and talk about it. But first off, before we get to that, and we really dig deep into that, because I'm sure they have a lot to say, and we'll bounce off of them and bounce off of each other and everything. I want to talk about the announcement that came during yesterday's live that we did, Voice. We kind of broke it here as it was happening, because as we were talking, I was on X, because you guys, like I said, we are pushing a lot towards X. So if you're on X and you're seeing this here, make sure that you guys give us a follow, whether it be my personal page or the new page that we have up, In Your House Pod. That's on X. But I saw it on X that the announcement came out and everybody was kind of waiting for it. So many people were waiting for it because we're used to hearing the announcement of next year's WrestleMania at the current year WrestleMania. And it took them a little bit to kind of get that out there. And they did. And it ended up being Viva Las Vegas on 420 weekend. It's just going to be a heavy situation next year. I think this was a really good move. I know Minneapolis was in the cards, but with how hot Vegas has become in wrestling and just in sports, period, I think Vegas was the right move. Hype, you haven't got a chance to really talk about it here on the show. I was going to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your thoughts on WrestleMania coming to you from Las Vegas.
Yo, I think WrestleMania in Vegas is huge, bro. Like, who doesn't want WrestleMania in Vegas? I know you guys are already hyped for it. I know y'all already done booked hotels and getting ready, prepped, and like everybody's hyped for this. Like, I'm hyped for it as well. I think I gotta go. I think I gotta try to go. So like, push come to shove, we all try to go. And that's where I'm at with it, bro.
Yeah. Yes, man. I even love that logo, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you
too.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's really cool, man. Like that's a good looking logo. P, man. P. Pissed off P. Where you at, bro? Where you at?
He said,
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You don't like nothing.
I don't like to go to Vegas.
You don't want to go to Vegas, bro?
Every time I go to Vegas, I'm a hoe. Every time I go to Vegas, like it's like every time I go to Vegas, the hoes go to Vegas, stirring up all this nasty. Gonna be Mr. Nasty time in this motherfucker. I'm trying to behave, and y'all gonna put it in Vegas?
Vegas.
Y'all trying to manipulate me, and I ain't want to be manipulated. All right. That's what it is. But no, it's gonna be dope. I think it's funny because Kofi said, I hope that Corbin goes broke again. So that was hilarious to me. But my only issue is we're gonna have them in Vegas. And my worry is you could potentially hurt some of your fan base. And the reason I say that is because Vegas is an expensive place to stay.
That's true.
And a lot of times when they've been doing certain places, they may not be the cheapest place to stay. Yeah, here comes the whole train. Yes. No, don't come the whole train. OV hoes. Say OV hoes. OV hoes. No, y'all trying to get me in trouble. But no, I think of it as for the fans, right? I heard people talk about how Philly was expensive, and then there are people who have been to multiple WrestleManias, and they said Philly was one of the cheaper options.
Really?
And because they're saying Philly was one of the cheaper options compared to other manias they went to when it came to like hotels, and granted, rentals were awful, but that's going to probably happen regardless. My worry is that they go to Vegas, right? And even somebody talked about it, isolating the young fans, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to Vegas a lot when I was younger, but because I knew people and I knew how to Vegas underage, I was able to have fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody has those Vegas connections. And so my worry is you might hurt it when it comes to the young demographics that might want to go out there that are underage. You might affect the demographics that are saving up all their pennies and their coins for Vegas to just get those WrestleMania tickets. And then the hotels cost more than the tickets do. And the tickets are already expensive. I mean, Con, we went out to Vegas. How much did we split that room for how many nights for? It was like 3-4 ways or something like that.
Yeah, it was still pricey.
It was still pricey. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's not me trying to hate on it. I think it's going to be great. I'm just thinking of all the other things that might come with it. But with that being said, Vegas has some amazing food. If I meet Keith Lee, the food reviewer, not the wrestler out there, I'll be happy. Now, granted, if I meet both Keith Lees, that'd be dope. But I'm not talking about basket in my glory. No, I'm talking about let's try it. We're gonna do 10. So, like, if we do that, that'll be great.
I know that. Great. He's good.
See, and Jordan knows I was on point with that too.
I can't stand you for your impressions because every one of them's got like all like spot on. Like I ain't trying to blow up your spot, but like I need you to cheap plug real quick. I need you to come to my open mic and do your Shrek. And like I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Joke at open night. I had this really weird dream when I was younger that I was watching Shrek, but they recasted the whole crew. So like Donkey was played by Denzel Washington. Bill Cosby was Shrek. You know, and it was just a whole mess. Lord Farquhar was Morgan Freeman. And so it's just I was telling him about this dream, and I was going in detail about this dream. And he goes, "You got to do this at my open mic tonight, right?" I said, "Look, the way that my mental health is set up, I got to like have enough spoons in my thing to get over to Indiana. Because I'm gonna let y'all know, going to Indiana is taxing sometimes. I'll be having PTSD flashbacks. I'll be over here feeling like Drake right now. PTSD just left and right with all these flashbacks. Indiana is hard. It's just the boogeyman to me. Every time I go in there, some crap happens. I'm
gonna be real. How much of this episode is going to be about less about WWE and more about like rap and hip hop right now? Because like I'm for it all.
I'm also once again. Like I said, Indiana, I get in trouble because either I'm having the police trying to mess with me or the Howse. I don't know why y'all look. Can y'all get close up real quick? Close up real quick. I just want to talk to the Howse for a second. Howse, how you doing? You look nice. You know you do. That's what I mean. You're the Howse, so you understand it. Also, Ho has no gender. I'm not saying I'm talking to the male Howse, but the thing is, male Howse can get love too. But what I'm getting at is this: I'm trying to be a good Paragon. I am trying to be a reformed Paragon. I'm trying to be a wholesome Paragon. Why am I lying? Okay, look, all I'm saying is leave me alone, okay? Out there with your sundresses and your thick ass leggings and the booty shorts that the booty be hanging out, and I'm trying to, behave, and now all of a sudden I went to go get something to eat, now I'm eating something else. God damn it, behave, damn it. Shit.
Listen, an $8 sundress can get you thousands of dollars of support. Listen, got to be careful out here in these streets. It's about to be summer. You know what I'm saying? And you know how it is in the summertime. You already know them vibes. So it's going to be a whole movie out here. And now listen, in wrestling hot, listen, these wrestling feet, these wrestling hoes, there's a lot of baddies out there. Awful lot of baddies out there. So you got to be careful out here in the streets, bro. You got to be careful out here in the streets, right? Don't be caught slipping on your pimping.
Don't
get caught slipping on your pimping.
I don't slip it on my. I never slip it on my pimping. They be slipping over this pimping. No. I steal hearts, and that's only a misdemeanor. Is that your girl? Well, she won't be after I meet her. I leave it to Beaver and leave a Beaver weaker than a baby hugging stepped on drugs, shivering and shaking like a creature feature. All right, you better watch out now.
Bang bang, bang bang. All right, man. See, we off to a hot start here in your house. What was he about 20 minutes in? We already here. Listen. WrestleMania Las Vegas on 420 is going to be an absolute vibe. Now, I definitely hear what you're saying, P, and I hear what my man Dominic Stuckey in the comments is saying. Most definitely. I get it. I really do. And I do feel like that there should be it should be open to everybody. It should be something where everybody can go to this. But I'm just saying right now, man, WrestleMania in Las Vegas is going to be an absolute vibe. And it really is it's a great move because of the way that the city is just growing. I was talking to Voice about this, and we were talking about how they are, they've got themselves an NHL team, and not even just any NHL team. Like the Golden Knights are good. Like period. Like they're a winning team. They were able to acquire the Raiders. Still a lot of work to do there. They're the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA winning team. Yep. And then they're going to be acquiring the Oakland A's here pretty soon and taking that team and trying to turn that around. There's a lot of things happening in Las Vegas, and I know it's easy to say that because Las Vegas has been cracking like my entire life. Like I've never known Las Vegas to not be cracking. What's that?
I believe they're getting the NBA 2 team. correct?
Yes, I think it's supposed to be them and Seattle. So we could see the return of the Seattle Supersonics, and then Las Vegas is supposed to acquire a franchise too, which just pushes home my point that Las Vegas right now is a great spot to be at right now. Once again, I totally understand that it's not completely child friendly, but there are actually a lot of things out there in Vegas. If you go out there, because I went to Vegas a lot when I was a kid, a lot, and there was always something still to do there. So I still feel like that it being there is going to be great. For me personally, it being in Vegas is special because Vegas is somewhere I have a whole lot of fond memories at. And early on in my life, and even just recently going there to Versus Pro, and we was trunking people, bro.
Hey, calm, respectfully, your sister coming?
Man, shush. Who knows, bro? You got to pull up and find out.
Wow.
Hey,
Wale-
look, respectfully, his sister fine. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody in the household, his sister fine.
That's because she comes from a line of beautiful people.
Oh,
When they kind of says that, I'm like, damn, you look like your sister right now.
There you go, bro. Let this face be a reminder for what you hope to chase.
Like I said earlier, I don't know if we talking hip hop on this edition. I don't know if we talking wrestling on this edition, or I don't know if we shooting shots at relationships on this edition. But woo, it's hot, right? We shooting.
This is what Las Vegas WrestleMania can be. Trust me, me and P know just from the last couple of years the vibe and the energy that comes with the West Coast, the vibe and the energy that comes with the city of Las Vegas. Guys, I'm telling you, I totally understand. Minneapolis was in the running. Vegas by far is the best decision, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, agree. Because to be real with you, Minneapolis, like, once you see Prince and Prince's stuff and all that jazz, what you got left?
Right. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like you can listen, you can hit Vegas up early, like days before all the festivities that are happening, because there's going to be a whole festivity. There's going to be a whole thing of happenings over there in Las Vegas for wrestling. But if you go there days before, you still going to find stuff to do. There's plenty to do, and it's a cracking, growing city. I love Las Vegas, and for that reason, Las Vegas is going to be a great home for WrestleMania 41. They're doing it on 420 weekend. It's in a legal state. Wale Mania is going to be lit as fuck. I don't even know. Maybe Snoop might even pull up. Snoop Dogg might pull up.
He's going to.
He close enough. Close enough.
Can I be real for a second? Okay.
Yo.
This is probably the smartest move on WWE's part right now. Are we not in its hottest stage right now? Are we not in its most fire point at this moment? Why not go somewhere where you can probably generate the most amount of revenue in some place and maximize on this? So look, man, you making 1,000 level IQ moves out there, and people don't even see it. This move is good for now, and I'm sorry if the people in Minneapolis didn't get WrestleMania, and you probably won't get the one after that, because I'm just saying Caitlyn Mania is going wild in Indiana, and they might want to capitalize on that after that. So I'm just saying.
Bring it over here.
We're saying that they might bring WrestleMania overseas, so
and that's a chance.
That's another possibility.
I think that's definitely a possibility too. They might capitalize off of that, but I also think they may keep these. If we bring it to Backlash a little bit, we may keep these B level pay-per-views, if I can say that, overseas, because they can probably maximize on revenue there. Yeah, because it hasn't happened in decades. They haven't been there in a decade, or been televised in a decade, or highlighted in that way in so long.
Yeah. And I mean, I would like to say, as somebody, I'm sorry, Pete, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. As somebody who I took 3 daughters to Vegas just a few years ago, and they had a complete blast. They're asking when they get to go back. So Vegas has changed geared more towards kids. and in like you were saying, House, towards the day and stuff. But we also took them to the Beatles Love Show, and it was one of the later shows, and they had a blast. Like it's changing in the landscape, and I can understand the hesitation of the younger crowd and like that. But if you go out there and you experience and you just put yourself out there, you're gonna see it different. You might see a different perspective and a different reality than what you think's gonna be.
Another thing
that's
that
a good point.
We should consider is, what if, just in case, Vegas does too well, and now Vegas is like, hey, we, a tourist city, appreciated your tourist event, and we would love if WrestleMania becomes our thing. Like, picture this. Even if it's not WrestleMania, they asked WWE for at least a monthly or semi-annual or annual residency, which is once again taking WWE to a new level, a new whatever. And so now it's like a WWE residency going on because of this building and growing city that's a tourist city. And WWE, now that it's back in pop culture somewhat, it's going to potentially generate more money to Vegas. Vegas loves money. I saw somebody say they want Atlanta. So here's the thing about Atlanta. Austin would be great because Austin is also a growing city and very progressive, whatever. The issue with Atlanta is when Keith Lee went to Atlanta, and part of my language, niggas didn't know how to behave. And because motherfuckers don't know how to behave, my worry is they're going to go to Atlanta for WrestleMania and motherfuckers not going to know how to behave. All right? And then you're going to have people talk about, I went to WrestleMania in Atlanta. Let's talk about it. And I don't want those problems. I don't want people reviewing their terrible Atlanta experience at WrestleMania.
Listen, also, for you, P, Atlanta got Howse.
Damn it. No.
It got Howse, bro.
Howse?
Listen, you could point those chopsticks at me. I'm just giving you the info, bro.
I'm pointing at the Howse.
Don't they got a really good Six Flags too? Like one of the better ones?
They do, and the Howse be there.
Oh, that's where they go?
Listen, the Howse be there. There's definitely like an outbreak of Howse in Atlanta, and I'm not even joking.
I feel like WrestleMania in Atlanta is going to bring back Freaknik.
I don't know if Voice has ever seen the Freaknik documentary, or
they're gonna be some babies. They're gonna be some babies made in Wale Mania.
Look, I heard about these events, and now that I get to actually see it, I'm like, oh my god, that's what they were talking about. I was a kid who loved 2 Live Crew. My mom might not let me listen to it, but I loved it. I sneaked it away. I put it in my CD player when I went to bed.
They want me to bring out the measuring tape.
Measuring tape.
Hey, you had a measuring tape? Yes.
It's for the host.
You ain't have it handy.
Oh, okay. I thought I reached your limit, Paragon. I was concerned, but no, it was for the hose. Okay, good.
It's for the hose, bro. Oh man. See, this is what we bring into y'all here In Your House. We talking some WrestleMania, Las Vegas, and once again, a decision that could be looked at as somewhat polarizing, but I do believe in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be something beautiful that they did. Yeah. Very great, wonderful planning there, I believe, because of the circumstances, everything that comes with it, everything that WrestleMania is converting into is a very, very cool thing that makes you not just want to be there just for the WrestleMania events, but everything that surrounds it and everything that comes with WrestleMania. Many different shows to go to. Wale Mania is something that you have to experience. It's just one of those things where it's like, you got to, I have to get there for this one. I have to, like, it's, I didn't do all my adults, and I didn't done the stuff that I need to do, whatnot. This one, I got to get to this one. It's too perfect, too perfect. So I wanted to talk a little bit about WrestleMania and we talked a lot about that WrestleMania announcement because it's something big to unpack. But we also had another event there in Lyon, France. First time WWE's been to France, and man, what an incredible! I really feel like that, and I think I said this on X, and I think I said it in the group chat too, is that France is going to have a heavy task ahead of them to outdo Puerto Rico last year because that Puerto Rican crowd was crazy. But I got to tell you, Lyon, France really brought it. And I was amazed at what I saw from this crowd. I know we talked a little bit about it, Voice. I'm going to throw it to P, man. This show here, this crowd, this vibe, what were you seeing as you were taking it in?
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the example of how a hot crowd can make or break a show. This is an example of how a hot crowd can make people work harder and work better. And this is an example of how a hot crowd that just wants to enjoy wrestling means a lot more than a crowd trying to put themselves over. Now, granted, there were definitely times where it was giving those old NXT crowds, especially when they would hit the road and it felt like they were more worried about chanting for themselves than actually the show going on. But it was rare. It wasn't the whole thing.
Yeah.
It felt like they cared. And also, I think they understood the assignment. If we make some noise, they'll come back.
Yes.
If we make some noise, we get more shows from them. It's not just going to be them going to the UK. It's not going to just be them, going to, these areas that they might not go all the time, but like actually going to these places that they have never been, or it's been a long ass time since they've been. So I salute you, France, for showing your ass, because you doing that is potentially going to allow you to get more people going on. But I will also say this. It was some pretty damn good wrestling. Like,
yeah,
we've gotten like teases of like the Bianca and Jade tagging, but actually seeing them in fruition, and especially that tag move that they did, where it was like the DDT Wilbur, like I was like, they tagging right now. So like that was pretty dope. It was pretty cool. At this point, I'm getting real tired of Jey Uso putting on bangers and matches like this just to lose, because at this point, you have literally turned this dude into a star who can't win. He can't win the big one.
Yeah, winning isn't going to win anything, bro.
And he's the most over babyface in the company right now. He's more over than Cody, which is why I said it was his story to finish, not Cody's. But no one wanted to hear me or listen to me. Do you see how over he is? This dude was in the crowd, and he has the yeet chant to the point where he's not only controlling it, he'll hold your hands up. Not yet. Now we go. And it's like, that's fucking magic right there. But
his crowd control is incredible.
Being upset about him catching L's, he definitely caught a dub with the love that he's getting and how he was just eating last night. He was eating. And to me, it made him feel important that, once again, it took all of that outside help to beat him. I love this weird development of like, is Damian a face, or is it just a matter of Damian wants to prove he can do it on his own? Because it's not necessarily he's turning face. It could literally be, I want to be someone that feels like I deserve to be champion. There is this diatribe that Mr. Money in the Bank, once you win it, are you really champion if you cash in without like giving them a heads up and winning? If you just do the regular cash in like he did, doing it after a match, whatever. And so I feel like he's trying to prove like I deserve to be here. I deserve to be champion. I deserve to be seen as that guy. So no, stop attacking my opponent. Stop helping me. If I lose, I want to lose on my own. If I win, I want to win on my own. So there were a lot of stories that were actually being told that were kind of cool at Backlash. I thought it was a really beautiful nod. AJ wearing the same gear he wore against Dusty Rhodes 20 years ago against Cody. I thought that was pretty dope.
I'm dumb. I just thought he was joining Judgment Day.
Judgment Day stole his stuff. They stole his stuff.
Yo, can I say real quick? I know we were talking about Vegas and WrestleMania, but like seeing these overseas crowds, like I think a bucket list thing for me is like, I want to go to an event like that overseas.
Yes, 100%, brother.
I think that might be the thing. Is like, WrestleMania is cool, but like, bruh, like George, I want that football stadium feel.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
Here's the problem, though, Pop. Here's the problem. Overseas got hoes.
Listen.
I ain't never getting away from them.
You know what? I'm gonna have a segment on this show. I'm gonna have a segment on this show. It's gonna be called "Scaring the Hoes," and I'm gonna tell people that are wrestling fans and are wrestlers how they're scaring the hoes, or what was a scaring the hoes moment in wrestling. Like that Drew Gulak shit. Scaring the hoes, my nigga.
Man, we're gonna get to him. We got to him. Sound like you're scaring the hoes, man. For real, we're gonna get to him.
Yeah, I'm asking for it. I'm saying it now. I want a 2-minute segment called "Scaring the Hoes." And we're gonna talk about it. Break with a host. Yes.
Why don't we have a tape measure logo going up?
Oh, I don't think I to have something like that. It's
He's
crazy,
made a
man.
tape measure the 5th cast member in this show.
Fantastic gimmick. Fantastic gimmick. I think you went to go get it. He's got it. It's here. It's
There you
here.
go, Blue. He's got it for you.
It's there.
There you go. Hey, throw it up again. There you go.
Love it. Love. Hold on one more time for us. One more time for the household. There it is. Lou loves it. Lou loves it. Lou approval. Lou approval.
That's how I feel about the whole trying to manipulate me.
Yes.
I've had it up to here with you. Up to
Yes. This is what we do here in your house, y'all. This is exactly the type of fun I was wanting to have here. Great episode so far here in your house. But hype, man. You want to be a part of that crowd? I do too, bro. I really do too. Let me ask you, bro, because I've been really wanting to ask you this. I always like your perspectives on this. What was your match of the night from that night?
I think I don't know. The match of the night, it has to be the tag team match, right? With KO, RKO, and the New Bloodline, right? Like,
Yeah.
everything else after that, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was somewhat tuned out. And maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. Like, I felt like I knew that Jade and Bianca were about to win. I felt like I knew that Jey Uso was probably about to take that L. I knew that, like, Cody's not about to lose, bro. So, like, everything else I didn't know about, or like I didn't know it, or I knew about everything else after that Bloodline match. And the only thing I didn't know was what was going to happen. And we were all surprised, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was a
Probably
left
one of
turn.
the best kept secrets that has happened in a long time because people didn't even realize he had left the company.
No.
Yeah.
And now, like, hey, I'm, you take your Young Bucks and Usos matches and fantasy things, but like I don't know about y'all. I've been wanting to see GOD versus Usos for a very, very long time, and like, bruh.
Yeah.
Here's the scary thing. Not to jump in on you and take your shine for a second, but here's the scary thing. So we were expecting Jacob. We didn't get Jacob. We got Tangaloa. What they don't realize is there's another brother, and he's like almost, if not 7 foot tall.
Well,
Damn.
we're still getting. I think we're still going to get Jacob, right? But like, everybody,
when we get Jacob and we get all 3 members of God, who the hell's going to be on the other side of that War Games team?
Well, what's happening?
I don't know. What if Jacob sides with Roman? How is that not a possibility, right? Like, I mean, are we not thinking about this? Roman has ties. Roman's still ahead of the table. I mean, we don't know who's pulling all the strings and stuff like that. Paul hasn't talked to Roman, so that means Roman's keeping everything close to the vest. Like, we don't know what Roman's doing over there.
What if they bring in Zilla?
Yes.
They can fast track. Listen, all these Samoans getting fast tracked. So it's like anything is possible at this point. Like, anything is possible at this point. You know, I didn't even realize, but I had to. I got educated again on X because I've been pretty heavy on there trying to keep up with stuff. I totally forgot that Tangaloa was actually Camacho about 10 years ago in NXT.
We don't talk about Camacho.
I know. Listen, we keep it real though. We keep it real though.
Hey,
we keep it real.
We gonna see that reunion. We gonna see that reunion with him, Drew, and LA Knight.
See, look, that I'm okay with, because if you remember when they debuted on Impact, he called out the fact that in what world do you make a Tongan person a Mexican? He called that out in the Impact promo. He was like, you pretty much said all brown people look alike. And I was like, I'm here for that. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna call him Camacho because that's scaring the Howse activity.
I mean, I don't know going to a company that made an African dude from Boston a Jamaican but is any better. But
But
you know what?
to be fair, I believe he might have been somewhat doing that beforehand. Like,
Was he?
well, because you got to look at it this way. Like, I know a couple of people on the indie circuit who are not actually British, but have British accents. And then I know some people on the indie circuit who actually are British, but they use American accents. It's a matter of either A, trying to be different, or feel like you're more digestible. So I'm not going to knock you for character work. I will say, though, like, there's a difference between staying in the same realm of like, hey, and it's fucked up. It is fucked up because it's like, having a Korean person do a Japanese gimmick. It's fucked up and it's not cool. But at least it's like y'all are on the same fucking continent. Having an African person do a Jamaican accent, that's the same ancestry. Mexicans, Hispanics, and Polynesians don't have any type of correlation. You saw the color brown and said,
let's just make this. Yeah, come on.
You're not wrong.
like,
You're not
I'm saying it's all fucked up, but there's levels
Yeah,
of
yeah.
fucked upness.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But
Man.
Bell was telling us about his feelings about Backlash, and you were saying that the tag match was the one that really surprised you.
Yeah. I mean, everything else other than that. Although, like, I'm not gonna like beat the women's tag. I for a good while I was very, very Team Jade. Right, she was strong, she looked strong, and then she got tired, and she gonna have to work on that, but I think that's something that's workable, right? But we knew that her and Bianca was gonna win. I wish we would have. I don't know. Jade looked tired, and it looked like there was some clunkiness in that match that made it weird, and that's just some stuff she's gonna have to work out. But also, that's why she's in this tag team division now, right?
Yeah,
That's why she's working where she's working.
This push though, she's had 3 PLEs. She's
Yep.
had, I want to say, 4 to 5 matches total, and she's already a champion. That kind of says like the plan and the investment and belief they already have in her. And yes, there is some greenness there, but like you got to think about that. Like in a matter of months, she's already champion. She's kind of getting that like Kurt Angle push.
I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking her at all.
Oh, I was saying he was. I'm just amazed
Yeah.
by that dawned on me last night when I was watching it. Like I'm like, damn, like y'all really believe in her.
Yeah, no, for sure. It absolutely seems like they believe in her as they put the tag titles on. And I was even telling this to Voice. I was like, listen, like this is great to see Jade in this environment, being able to have this type of opportunity, but it's equally as great for Bianca Belair to kind of take up like that mentor type position, because I remember there was times I would watch Bianca Belair, and sometimes she would seem like she was a deer in headlights early on in her early days, way early NXT days. But now she's starting to slowly gain like ring general status, because it's going to be up to her to lead this tag team and be able to put them in those good opportunities. And it's given her something else to do too as well, I believe, because I think there was a time where everybody was like, dang, like she's constantly in the title picture, but what other stories can she tell? And even though this one still involves a story, I think it's a good situation where a good story that's being told where it's like Black women are kind of empowering each other with this big 3 type stable that we're seeing. And hopefully we can see more of that, because I think that's a good story to tell on mainstream wrestling television, is seeing something like this. But I do feel like down the line that feud is going to happen at some point.
Oh yeah.
I feel like though I want it to be a respect feud. I don't want it to be like a you betrayed me feud.
Right.
And the only reason why I say that is just because it's a story that's always told in wrestling. And because of the showcase people of color have not been able to have in the same way as other ethnicities in wrestling, it just doesn't look good, in my opinion, if it feels like the only way for us to succeed as people of color is that we have to betray each other and have this blood rivalry. Like Trick and Mello, the fact that they're about to have this whole like HBK Triple H blood feud, okay, cool. But it's nice that, the New Day just simply went their separate ways and it was respectful and it was amicable. I would like that if we could potentially have that with women too. If it's just like hey, it's not a matter of me betraying you. It's just a matter of, I want to be better than you, or I think I'm better than you.
I'm sorry to interject, but aren't they doing that with Bailey and Naomi?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like with Bailey and Naomi, it's a matter of like, we're friends. I just want your title. I feel like we need to get more of that sometimes in wrestling. It doesn't have to always be betrayal. And because, like you said, we have that with Naomi and Bailey. That's one example of women wrestlers of color and people of color just having a respect feud, not a you betrayed me blood feud. Or my cat is going OD right now, sweetie pie. It's just so that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying it has to be every single way because once again, Trick and Mello are cooking with fucking grease, and like I like what they're doing. I just don't want it to be every feud because we need to be able to show that these people have layers now that they finally are getting a platform. Because that's what it comes down to. It's the difference in platform right now. There's people getting a platform that didn't have one before. So now that we have a platform, allow us to show our diversity. Allow us to show that we can be badasses, that we can be funny, that we can be entertaining, that we can make you cry, that we can make you laugh, that we're not one-dimensional. Because there's a lot of other people in wrestling that have had that opportunity. What I believe is when you show people how diverse you can be as a persona and character, then you can start seeing past what is quote unquote diversity because you start to see them as people. And I feel like that's kind of the goal of diversity and equity to begin with, is to acknowledge each other's differences to a point that you no longer see them. You just see them as people and not as other. And that's just what I'm getting at. Because I'm very big on, wrestling being for everybody and wrestling feeling inclusive to those who want to be in it but don't feel that way. And there's a lot of people who I feel like struggle with finding their place in wrestling. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure everybody on this podcast at one point in time has tried to find their place in wrestling or struggling with it. And so I feel like this is just an area that a lot of people have struggled with. I mean, hell, part of my wrestling journey is having to sometimes deal with, I went from being the black guy on the show to now I'm a locker room leader with a very diverse locker room that I'm a part of. It's crazy to see how much has changed in almost 7 years.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely been a lot of growth and development, and we love to see it, man. Wrestling has grown a lot, and I know I talk about it a lot on this show that we see that growth and development, and so many different characters that are now being accepted in professional wrestling, and it's great to see the mainstream shows go to these different areas that they never have been to before. I was talking to Voice about that moment when Kevin Owens came out for his entrance and he just kind of sat there or he stood there for a minute and was just kind of taking everything in. I think he understood the moment that was the first time that they'd been in France. And I thought that was a very cool moment that he soaked in.
And he's Canadian too, so there probably was a feeling there as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different elements in there, but very cool moment there, I believe. I believe the show was really good. And I believe that we're going to see some good follow-up here to that show, as we're going to have now the King of the Ring tournament that's going to be going down in Saudi Arabia. That's going to be something very interesting to see when we move forward to Monday Night Raw. And we have matches that have been announced for this show. And I got to tell you, it really feels like they're doing things right. They're trying to make it feel big. They're trying to make it feel like, hey, we're going to actually do something with the King of the Ring again. And Hype, I wanted to get some of your thoughts real quick as far as this King of the Ring tournament. The way we're doing this King of the Ring tournament, the members that we have that are involved in this tournament, and it going down in Saudi Arabia, another international show from the WWE. What are your thoughts, man, in terms of where we're going to go with the King of the Ring? Because I know that you were somebody that's kind of like, King of the Ring doesn't really mean much in the last, few years. But like, what do you think about the way it's being presented at this point?
Like I told y'all before, as long as you make it mean something, cool. We're not AEW like haters on this podcast by any means, but we will talk shit about shit that needs to be talked shit about, right? So if you make this something like AEW has with their tournaments and things like that, made them big and things like that, man, I'm all for this. But without that, I'm I'm always skeptical, but it looks like this with the tournament bracket that they have and the contenders so far that have announced themselves, like Melo and obviously Gunther, and then on the women's side you have Zelina Vega returning. Oh, there we have it right here. Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, Ivy Niles, Zoe Stark, Natty, Io Sky. This is Mage. Oh
Yeah.
man, Sheamus and Gunther again. Oh,
Hold on,
Look at that very bottom.
Look at that
Ricochet.
very bottom, bro.
oh my god.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Oh my god. Okay,
That's what
all
I'm saying.
right. But still, I still will say, hey, make the end of this worth something. I understand that King of the Ring is a title, but like you've made dudes carry around a briefcase that gives them a shot at the world championship for about 10 years now. If you're going to make these things worth something, at least make it a shot. I think it would be a downgrade if you did this, but if you at least made it a shot at the Intercontinental title right away or something like that. But but it really should be a shot at the world title. If you were the King of the Ring, you need to go against the champion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you were kind of saying, Howse. Like you wanted more at the end of this yesterday.
Yep,
So
I was saying that.
I agree. And I mean, if you look in the comments, tell me you're Canadian without tell me you're Canadian, Bubba. Natty ain't going to win this tournament. Get out of here with that nonsense. I know you'll want her to, but she ain't gonna. But I'm really excited for the women's portion of this because like we were talking, Howse, that sets up so many stories where you could go and potentially brand off of that. I mean, come on, give me a Shayna Baszler as your queen of the ring. Tell me that doesn't cement her as a strong individual. And then once we get Rhea back, boom, throw them again. Let's see it. Let's just have a knockout, drag out fight with these two. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Boy. What did I do wrong, P?
No, this isn't for you. This isn't for you. This is just when it hits my turn because of after seeing the bracket. When you see the measuring tape, don't always assume it's your fault.
Every time I talk, it starts going up, so I'm gonna associate it with it.
I was like, it's coming out. All right, you got some thoughts, man. This King of the Ring tournament. What are you thinking, P?
Well, I want to make sure Voices said everything he said because
I already did yesterday. No worries, man. No worries. You're good to go.
All right, so here's the reason why the tape came out. We talked in the group chat, and one of the things I said is of the certain people I would love to see in the tournament, and I would love to see win, or at least in the finals. And the match I wanted to see in the finals, for the men's at least, was Gunther and Ricochet. I felt like it'd be great for Gunther. It fit the vibe, and it could potentially be us getting back King Ricochet. So we could finally get that push we were asking for. Right. But who do I fucking see facing Ricochet in round one? And literally, my mind said they're gonna make him a fucking star by officially making him the Czar. My pick to win now is Ilya Dragunov. They're gonna have him be the Czar, but you also brought up a good point of making it mean something. And honestly, personally, I think they should do away with Money in the Bank. I think they should do away with Money in the Bank. They need to officially make the King of the Ring championship. And I think they should make the person defend the title until they're ready to cash it in. They have to announce their cash in. And when they announce their cash in, then they get to face the champion of their choosing. Now, mind you, we could play it in a way where they can still have it be like Money in the Bank and they can cash it in whenever. But that's what I think they should do with it. I think they should bring that title and make it an official thing. And I think that should be the new Money in the Bank because if it has that gift of the gods mentality to it, where you have to defend it or you can defend it, but then you can cash it in, it makes the title kind of feel special, in my opinion. But I do feel like if you're able to cash it in whenever, that kind of also keeps that thrill of Money in the Bank. But yeah, I truly believe it's either going to be Gunther or Ilya with the decision in this one. But what I'm hoping for the women's, because is are Natty and Shayna in the same opening match? Are they both in the same round one match?
Round one.
Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
Shayna
I
and
want
Natty and Shayna and Zelina.
Perfect. I want Natty and Shayna in the finals. And the reason why I'm saying that is because think about it. You have the Queen of Hearts versus the Queen of Spades, and one of them gets to walk
Oh,
out.
that's good. Yeah.
Well,
But who
I think
walks
that'll
away?
either happen.
Now, mind
Or
you,
probably
do I want
semifinals,
them in there
right?
when it comes to What'd you say? What'd you say?
Joe,
I didn't hear you.
Sorry. I said,
Yeah, I can hear you. What'd you say?
I don't know if that'll happen in the finals, but maybe in the semifinals. Because if I'm looking at this list, they're probably who are they going to want to push the most? It's either Zoe Stark or maybe this is for Asuka. I don't know, or Io. I don't know.
You know what I would also like to see as well? Io Sky versus Asuka in the finals, or at least at some point in that tournament.
Yeah,
That would be dope.
Or
That would be good.
Queen of Spades versus the Empress of Tomorrow, and have Asuka versus Shayna, and so one of them has to like submit the other one to actually win the whole shebang. That'd be bonkers.
A submissions match.
So like I'm actually honestly excited for both of these tournaments, but I will say I'm more excited for the first round matches of the men's versus I'm excited for the potential semis and finals for the women's, which I think it feels like they kind of front loaded the men's one where it's like, oh, a bunch of first round matchups that you'll probably like, whereas the women's it's more of a bunch of semis and mains you will like. Like Shayna and Zelina, I'm not looking forward to. I love Zelina Vega. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers. I think she's very underrated, but they have not built her in a way that I believe she's realistically going to beat Shayna. Ivy Nile has not gotten a real showcase of herself. And Zoe Starks, who looks like Angie from Shark Tales, I probably shouldn't say that. Cut that clip.
Why, man? You said it.
Yeah, we're live, pal.
yeah, that's how this works.
We're live, buddy.
Honestly, I don't say that Zoe Starks is because she's always talking about people's booty. Leave people's booty alone. Okay, you're scaring the hose. But no, I don't feel like that match is like it's kind of telegraphing in my opinion. It's telegraphing is probably going to be Zoe, but that may be the swerve they're going for, you know. But just right now, the first round matchups aren't doing the same thing for me that the second round potential are doing for me.
You know,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought they cut released Von Wagner a while ago, but maybe that was just me.
Yo,
And the stare right after, just the deadpan stare. That's what killed it, dude. That's what clipped it right there.
Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is.
Oh no, there we go. We had to capitalize off. Dude, I want to say I think the women's is more. It seems like the women's tournament is going to be more storyline driven, and the men's is going to be more just wrestling driven. The way that they have this first round set up. And that's just my opinion that I'm looking at this because there's a lot of storylines that you're going to be able to adapt off of this for the women's. The men's, it's kind of a lot of these guys are already in something. And I could see Ricochet winning. And the only reason I'm saying that is because what you said yesterday, Howse, with his rise, how he's been moving as of lately, there's a good chance that Ricochet could get a push in this. And why not have King Ricochet? I mean, it would be a great push for him. What was that, Jones?
I said he already got the methamphetamine belt.
Speed.
Wow. I didn't know that's what it was.
I'm here all week.
But
what happened to the peace?
Listen. When I think about these,
I heard too many diss tracks. I love this shit.
When I think about this tournament, man, I think about like the Eastern and Western Conference playoffs, and I look at the men's bracket, and I think about the Western Conference where all those first round matchups just was like everybody was like, "Oh man, this is juicy! Oh, we're about to have Clippers versus Dallas Mavericks." You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is crazy! It's so much going on. and you know, then you have the Eastern Conference with a lot of upstarts like the Pacers, and I had to get them in there real quick. The Magic, you know, so many, like even Cleveland is still fairly new to the playoffs with a team that's pretty young, and we're seeing all these young teams start to come up and rise up. I mean, hell, we just saw Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves spank the Denver Nuggets, and you know, my man Ant-Man dropped 43 points. So I think there is an opportunity in this women's bracket where you can see maybe somebody that's on the rise or something like that, or somebody that they want to take to that next level, win this thing. And I agree with exactly what P was saying, because I was actually going to make that point. We brought up the belt here just a little bit ago, and the reason that I brought that up is because I was going to say exactly what P said. He took it right out of my head, is that I feel like that there should be a title presented. I mean, the greatest Royal Rumble champion, who was it? Braun Strowman? He still ain't defended that title. Give us an actual like tournament title that will actually mean something, and have things that can be have things that can, you know, you can benefit from that title, you know?
He said he still ain't defended that title. That shit pop me. That pop me. Oh, greatest Royal Rumble champion, my ass. You ain't shit with that shit.
You ain't doing shit with it, bro. No.
Hey, wait. Does that mean he beat Hogan's streak? Then
Okay,
Wait,
now we got something to talk about.
Wait. He might be Bruno now. Shit.
This is a conversation we had.
Then he got released, so I think that makes it vacant.
Oh, he might, maybe, yeah.
Oh, but
but the thing is, when you get released or you get injured, the title vacates. You don't just automatically get it back. So we had to look at from the time he won that till he got vacated. Somebody do quick math. If you're in the chat right now, I want y'all to look up when he won that title and then take the time that he got released and see how long that is.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Chat. Y'all got this. I believe it.
Somebody got to work on that. We got to see that. We got to see that.
Yeah.
See, this is this right here.
I just want to take time to appreciate everybody out there who's listening. We have a big group in there. This is probably one of our biggest shows that we've had as far as the live goes.
Yes.
With the amount of viewers that we have across all social medias, whether that's X, whether that's YouTube, whether that's Twitch or Facebook.
We everywhere right now.
Yeah. Right now, we would just want to tell everybody out there that we appreciate you, and we want to send you all that love that you're giving us, and we want to remember that this episode is dedicated to Nick Koupal, and anybody that was a friend of him and shared his heart, shared his spirit or anything. Our hearts go out to you, and we thank you for joining us, and we thank everybody out there for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Well said. For an episode, honestly, like you said, man, like that makes me happy, because I'm seeing the numbers here and I'm like, every single platform that we are on right now, we have viewership, and that is a great step in the right direction. It's a testament to the hard work that everybody does on this podcast, and I appreciate it. Everybody, you know, is bringing the best version of themselves to come and make this project the best project it could possibly be. And I'm very appreciative when it comes to that, man. And we're coming together and doing this at such a right time when wrestling is just cracking so hard on all cylinders. You know, we talked about Vegas WrestleMania. We talked about these international shows, Backlash. You know, we're talking about so many things happening in professional wrestling and so many different facets of professional wrestling. And it's really, really great to see. So we talk about all the stuff that's going on. Backlash is happening. King of the Ring is happening. And we'll stay with King of the Ring real quick. I'll ask this to you, Hype. Throw this at you, man. And then we'll ask Voice, get him involved. Why do these matchups that you're seeing here, is there any particular one that you're going to be just completely locked in for? Like, I know there's a lot of great ones. I know that's hard to pick, but from each bracket, is there any first round one that looks like that's happening here as far as what we see on the list? Is there any one of them that's just like you're going to be zeroed in on?
Yeah, I think Ilya and Ricochet is going to be really good. But it's more about the prospects of probably the later rounds for me, and what we're going to see with that bracket and how it breaks down. It's probably all the semifinal matches when we're going to see probably Ilya and Gunther, which that may be the final, right?
Or Ilya and Drew McIntyre.
Right. But seeing those, but right off the top, man, seeing Gunther and Sheamus, that's one to jump off real quick. What you got, boys?
Honestly, you kind of took the one that I was gonna go with, the Sheamus and Gunther one right here. I would love to see that because I want to see what Sheamus has coming back into this, and a challenge like Gunther. I mean, come on, that's going to give us as fans the proving point of you still got it. And if he wins, which I don't think he will, I mean, it's Gunther. He's very scary. He's a very big guy, but he's on a rocket ship right now. I know he lost his title, but I mean, come on.
The internet said that Gunther's going to fat shame Sheamus.
I did.
Just into an L, and that's just going to be the match.
Dude, I put that in the chat the other
Like,
day.
you want the burger?
Like, this is what's going to happen. I mean,
burger. You want the burger from the ring here around? You get a fucking burger.
But I'm really, really excited to see that Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, because I think those two women put on a great showing every time they're in the ring, and to put them together. Underrated. Yeah, so it's going to be a really good, cool match. Probably going to liken back to a lot of little bit of high flying, but mostly mat wrestling, submissions, things like that coming out of Shayna, because we all know how she is. She's going to try to pick her apart, Zelina and all that. But Zelina, I think, can hold her own. But like P said, they haven't really built her up to make me believe that fully, but I know what she can do, so I'll buy into it if she does go over on Baszler.
P, what you got, man?
Can you throw it up again on the screen so we can see the brackets? So I want to confirm my eyes saw what they saw. Look at that right there. Right, you got that. You got that Shayna Baszler now. Okay, all right. So all right, so Asuka versus Lyra seems exciting. So like if I'm looking at matches, that's probably the one where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a banger. But honestly, I'm looking more forward to Ivy Nile versus Zoe Starks because I'm hoping that they will surprise us and they'll be the sleeper in this.
Yeah, you took mine, bro.
I like that.
I took yours.
Yeah, then, for that exact reason that you just said. For that exact reason that you just said, because I feel like that we're going to see something special from Ivy Nile, and with somebody like Zoe Stark, who's going to be the ring general of that match to lead the way for her, I just feel like that it could be really good. But I didn't mean to step on yours, bro. Please continue.
That's real talk. That's the cool thing about In Your House podcast is that because we are a team, we have conversations, we talk. Even when somebody has the floor, we can jump in. So like, no, it's all great, it's all love. But that's because you and I be on this wavelength. Like you've managed. Yeah. So there are times where we had to be so locked in when we was in that ring. So it makes sense that we'd be locked in when it comes to picks, Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like this is that moment where Ivy can show us who she is. And so for me, I'm looking forward to it because to me, it's kind of like a put up or shut up. Either you're going to show us who you are and I'm going to be excited, or you're going to show us what you're not ready for. And then maybe it's time to, go back to NXT.
That's a great point.
And that's not in a disrespectful way because look at it this way. Baron Corbin was showing his ass on the main roster, and then even he had to go there to, kind of restart. So it's not a demotion. Sometimes it's just a matter of you need to reset. Now for the men's, I remember you was conflicted because on one end, I'm like, damn, Kofi versus Ray? Ray? Then I also think to myself, like I would have probably loved that match 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm like, hell, I probably would have loved that match 13 years ago. So that's where I'm kind of like conflicted. So I'm also going with Ricochet Ilya because Either that one is walking out the Czar or one is walking out the King. And I don't think you call Ilya up to knock him out in the first round. That's an easy way to make him look like not a big deal.
Yeah.
So but granted though, if you're me, first and foremost, I don't like that they have two heels wrestling each other. They have Drew versus Finn in the first round. If you're me, I'm swapping Finn with Ricochet. So that way we have Ilya versus Finn and we have Ricochet versus Drew. And then you have Ricochet steal the win. And potentially he steals the win because Punk's music hits. And then once again, Drew tries to go up. Like there's some shit there. So that way you can have that. And then you kind of indoctrinate Ilya into the main roster, have a barn burner of an almost main event caliber match. And then Ilya H-bombs him. So
yeah.
That's how I would do it personally, just because that way, if you're going to have this match happen, and personally, you can't have this match happen in the finals. You can't. But if you have this match happen, at least let this be a semifinal match to get us excited to see what's next. That's just my personal opinion. That's how I look at it. I don't have the book, but if I had something to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
What was in his noodles today?
I didn't have noodles today. I had chicken katsu.
You just had the chopsticks hanging out?
No, I had the chicken katsu.
Yeah, it looked good.
Okay, sorry. It cut off when you were saying what you were eating. Sorry. I got you, man. Okay.
Chicken katsu over some fried rice. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Delicious.
That sounds delicious.
For real. Yo, all right. So as far as this tournament,
hey, I'm telling you, I'll come through. Paragon cooks, come through.
I'll be trying to get some of that, bro. For real, I got to come through and get some of that. And like you talk about cooking, man. Honestly, I really feel like Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre is going to absolutely cook. I think that's going to be a great match. I do think, and there's a lot of great matches that's on that list. I got it here in front of me. I'm looking at it here, and I'm like, man. And I go back to that Ivy Nile and Zoe Stark match, and just think that most definitely Ivy Nile. This is going to be a definite opportunity for her to showcase. I really feel like Zoe Stark is a great dance partner for anybody that's starting out, because she did do a lot of work in NXT and training and stuff in NXT before she did that, got to where she's at right now. So I feel like she'd be a perfect dance partner. But I really feel like with Ivy Nile, there's going to be a lot on the line, because I think we all know that the Chad Gable clicking up with the Creed brothers is something that's kind of slowly marinating. And I feel like Ivy Nile should be a part of that if she's got everything in order. So I will be thinking, man, if she can actually have a good showcase and have a decent showcase here, I do believe that it will catapult her and put her into continued conversations to make her a part of that stable, this Team Angle as stable that's going to move forward and see what we make of it moving forward. So I think that's a big matchup right there. I am very interested in Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston, but just like P said, I still feel like it's going to be a good match. I really do. But it's a match that would have went super hard, like you said, about 10 years ago. Hell, maybe even about 5 years ago, still would have went pretty hard. But, I still think it's going to be a decent match. But man, it's going to be decent. It's going to be crazy to see what happens with Gunther and Dragunov and what placement is going to be, what point we can see those two go up against each other in this tournament. It's going to be interesting because everybody's going to harken back to those WWE UK Championship matches from WWE UK. And it's that those are matches that people talk about and people remember when these two went up against each other. So that's just my thoughts on it, man, and seeing where we can go and seeing what could happen. Is there, I guess I'll leave it at this, and then we can kind of ride into the sunset after this question. And I'll start with Voice, and then I'll go to P. Out of both these tournaments, who do you guys think, starting with you, Voice, who do you guys think will benefit the most out of winning the King of the Ring tournament and Queen of the Ring tournament?
Oh, that's a good question. So when it comes to the women's division, I really think both you and Paragon hit it on the head with Ivy Nile and Zoe Stark. We need to see something, and this would definitely cement something. They would cement the foundation for the reassurance as a fan that they're building their character, they're building what we enjoy seeing. So Ivy Nile, that would be a huge one for her, and Zoe. I mean, Zoe. Oh man, you put Queen of the Ring on her, and I think that puts her into some talks about possibly getting a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely would, and I think that would really give the fans a belief in Zoe. For the men's, it's a toss up between Drew and Dragunov. I think
Yeah.
Dragunov would really like P talked about. I think it would really make him like the czar. Like, and plus it kind of goes with the storyline with him and Gunther. Um, Gunther is definitely tired of losing. It seems like how they're building that, and where are we going to go? He's lost his title. He just witnessed a big loss from his team. I get what that was against DIY, I believe, the other week. So yeah, Dragunov would be definitely the best to have for the men's, on my opinion. Um, I like his character. I like him coming over to the main roster. I think he's a good fit, and plus some of these guys would be fun to watch them go up against him. Ricochet. I mean, they're giving us that first round, so
Yeah.
I kind of can't wait for it.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a really, really great tournament, and I'm very excited for it. P, what do you think? What's your opinion on who can benefit the most from these titles, and who's realistic winners, possibly?
So this is kind of a two-part question, and I hate that I always have to be the devil's advocate and break shit down because I can't just look as a fan; I gotta look as a wrestler too. So if you're looking at how WWE benefits, then Shayna Baszler winning because they don't have their monster in Rhea Ripley anymore, so they need a new destroyer. And since
Right.
Nia's not in this tournament, the most quote unquote destroyer-esque person they would have is Shayna. Yes, you could say Asuka, but Asuka doesn't really need any more accolades in WWE right now. She's kind of making a mountaintop for herself of her own accomplishments. Shayna hasn't really done what she needed to do in the main roster, and I don't think that's a fault of her own. Um, so I think you making her a queen that destroys her way through the tournament is great for her. But that's if you're WWE, and also for her character. Her character does need that. But then, you could really pick anybody in this tournament and say, like, hey, this helped them. I mean, it doesn't help Asuka. It could help Io, but I don't see it. It'd be a nice way to cap off Natty's career. She's retiring soon. But the main ones I look at are like, and also Zelina, like her becoming a 2-time Queen of the Ring only helps if they treat her differently this time.
Yeah.
But
Good
my
point.
mindset is you want to make Queen of the Ring feel important this year. You want to make it feel important. It didn't really feel important last time. And I don't think it was any of the women's fault. It was a matter of how it was displayed. I think if you have the Queen of the Ring be more of a kind of like how King of the Ring used to be of a who's next,
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
it a who's next, then like I think Ivy Nile is the one who probably needs this the most. The reason why I don't feel like Lyra Valkyria needs it is because with Lyra, I feel like she has more upsides because of what we got to see her do on NXT. Whereas
Yeah.
Ivy Nile was mostly a manager and then sometimes did some tag team wrestling on NXT. And then she was a manager and then sometimes do some tag team wrestling and then a little bit of singles wrestling on the main roster. This can be that breakout moment, and this can be the moment where she shows people I can be a badass too, because she kind of is one. So
Yeah.
I'm picking her for who I think needs it, like overall, versus who I think WWE thinks needs it.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to pick Shayna for the reasons that I mentioned. I think who needs it for the men's though is also kind of weird because it's like you did just make Drew go through all that just to take the title away from him, but that's another conversation. If you get, I'm not going to say who I think needs it. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it at that. If you either have Gunther or Ilya win, you don't allow them to touch. They never beat. Somebody knocks them out. They get disqualified. They get counted out. They get screwed. You do not let them touch. And the reason why I say you don't let them touch is because why give away that match in King of the Ring when you could have that match, let's say at SummerSlam?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Not a bad point. I also like what Grummeister is saying, and I'm just like, I'm a little bit surprised Tiffany Stratton isn't in the tournament. I really thought that because I don't see her name on there, and they're really like doing a lot of stuff with her, so I'm a little surprised.
Her, Mello, and Braun are all missing from the tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I just thought those were names that would be in there, especially since I feel like Mello was on the show and he declared himself for it. So I don't know the situation with that, but I will say this: there's definitely possibility. And like when I look at that list and I see who could benefit from it, I mean, for me, my mind goes right to Ivy Nile if she's ready for it. You know, if she's ready for that type of trajectory change, that would be a perfect spot for her. Absolutely. And man, I could definitely see somebody like Dragunov most definitely benefiting from it. Gunther's already done so much, and yes, he can bring something prestigious to that particular moniker, that particular title of King of the Ring winner. But Rey Mysterio, I just don't think it benefits anybody or does anything for anybody. Same thing with Kofi. Sheamus has already had it. Gunther, like I said, possibility. Drew feels like he's doing other stuff. Finn feels like he's about to be doing other stuff too, because I see things happening from him. Me and Voice kind of talked about that a little bit. Ricochet could probably benefit from it, but it just by process elimination here, I'm thinking Dragunov. And like Dragunov, who's somebody who, you know, is considered to be the czar and can possibly benefit from having that type of, no matter how you try to present it, or which, I mean, I think it should be protected and presented in a positive light, and totally agree with what P was bringing up and my thoughts as well. Is give them a title, make them defend it until they decide to cash in, and, you know, things of that nature, and blah, blah, blah. You can make it, you know, cash in a board anytime as long as there's a referee around, whatever. But I feel like that's going to be a great benefit to have there if you do it in that way. But yes, my picks would be Ivy Nile and Dragunov. If you're putting the gun to my head, that those are my picks. But man, this episode has been a really great episode. And I feel like that's a good question, Lou. That's a good question. I'm not for sure. And it's all yet to really be determined. And man, just once again, I know Hype said it. He had to get out of here. He had some other stuff to do. He's always working, y'all, always working. But the traction that we've had in the chat, the people checking out on every single platform has been absolutely amazing. Like looking at it, we're being viewed across all of them, whether it be Twitch or Facebook or YouTube or X. You guys are here. You guys are also pulling up in the chat there on IG. We got a couple people over on IG Live. It's just all great to see, man. And man, we got to slide out of here, call this a really great episode. I got to spend the day with my family and check out a little bit of Game 7 action between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. That's been a really great series that people aren't talking about. Big fan of Paolo Banchero, and I love me some Donovan Mitchell as well. So Game 7 is going to be great, and that's going to be a movie for sure. But
so I can watch it too, right? You're gonna give me the plug for that so I can watch it too.
I got you, bro. I got you. It's Game 7, bro. It's Game 7, and you from Cleveland. Yo, much love to you, Bubba. Much love to you. And there's the mother of Nick Koupal in there. No problem at all. You know, we send our condolences and love. It's, you know, it is absolutely no problem to pay tribute to somebody that loved wrestling and was as cool as Nick was. So absolutely, we appreciate y'all. And that just feels like a good note to go out on, especially showing love from his mother. So much love to you and your family, and our sincerest condolences. Voice, I'm going to throw it over to you respectfully because there's no real good segue out of that. And respectfully give you your opportunity to let everybody know where they can hear you create, where they can hear you contribute to this thing that we all love, pro wrestling.
All right. You know me. It is I, the voice, Joshua Joseph. And I just want to say to Nick's mom, thank you for allowing us to make this dedicated to him. It seems like we did justice. We had the biggest live viewing audience. So that makes you feel a little warm on a Sunday. Other than that, you can catch me on the Raw preview review show that I do with my co-host, the Bulkster, OMD, and the one in the chat, Bubba Duke. We go and we do some fun things, talk about 3 topics from the last Raw, and we discuss those more in depth with each other. And then we talk about the three things we want to talk about coming up on the next Raw, which will be the King of the Ring tournament this week. Other than that, you can catch me out on the In Your House podcast on the Sundays, or whenever I get introduced to come and do some shows with everybody. And I wanted to take one more quick second to acknowledge a friend of mine that this guy was the very first indie wrestler who kind of showed me around. Let me ask questions. And we have Isaiah Moore going to be versing Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
And it's for the PWK Double Crown Championship. So no guts, no glory. Go check that out. Support him. I mean, this is a huge honor to share a ring with Ali. And Isaiah, I followed your career. You caught me by surprise one Thanksgiving by walking through an AEW curtain and entertaining an entire Chicago crowd. So, dude, your career is just a rocket, man, and it's so cool to see you do what you do. So catch me out there on X. It is JJ the Voice 64. You can catch everything I do, the clips we release after the show. Be checking those out, share those, because that does help us get the show out there to everybody, because we want to be a part of your household. We want to be in your house. It's in the name. So let us in.
Let us in, man.
Like
absolutely. I did like that. Loved it. Yes, absolutely, man. That's the Voice, Josh Joseph. Check out everything that he's doing. Shout out to the human highlight, Isaiah Moore, and the greatness that he is exuding out there and grinding out there in this wrestling business. But hey, man, we also have another grinder here in the wrestling business who's making his way, making his path, and staying true to himself while doing it. That is, of course, the world's most dangerous game, the world's most dangerous podcaster, Paragon, here giving y'all that work and bringing out the measuring stick and being the measuring stick of In Your House and bringing his perspective. And there it is right there. Man, what do you got going on and where can everybody catch you, bro?
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at the Paragon23, Instagram _Paragon. I would give y'all my Snapchat, but y'all got weird lately. And once again, we're not trying to bring the hose back around here. So I got some stuff in the works, so I'm doing a lot of rebuilding. As you see, I got a mic now, and I got some things I'm about to be getting into when it comes to my show, my podcast, anything to have you. But with that being said, I got some scary news last week. One of those scary things might have been that I almost had to leave wrestling altogether. But thankfully, after a second opinion with the doctor, I potentially am going to have a potential resurgence. I'm about to be meeting with Emerge here soon to talk to them about what my doctor said, and we'll go from there. They may allow me time to rehab and recover, or they may tell me that, hey, we'll have to strip you from the championship. We don't know. But yeah, got some scary news. And this is a shoot. Like, this isn't storyline or anything like that. Like, I got some scary news about my neck as well as my leg. The leg, not so scary. The neck, very scary. But I got a God-fearing mother who prays to somebody on high. And I believe that there's somebody out there who believes me to be his favorite TV show and won't give me, at least a mid-season finale. But I believe I do have some blessings. So I will be doing more podcast stuff. I will be more active. I actually am going to be starting my own YouTube show here soon. So hope y'all chime in for that. And when that comes up, I'll definitely be throwing that out there. And also we're working on some music too. So just keep an eye out, see what's going on. But enough about me. I think it'll just be after Khan does his stuff. We need to have a little mini dance party for Nick, because I know he'd like to get his jam on. And I think that's going to be the way to like we really end this thing right here. Because I don't want to put myself over. I want to put over what this podcast was about. And to me, that was Nick today.
Yes, absolutely, man. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, this has been an absolutely fun podcast to cap off a trio of podcasts that myself and Voice have put out. We put out some great content, and it was amazing to get Hype back up on here on Sunday. It was amazing to get P back on here on a Sunday. And man, these make these Sundays just pop so hard. It really does. And having this type of traction in the chat and everything that this episode meant, it really just has made my day. And, you know, I'm going to be riding high throughout the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in a time where a high is desperately needed. So, you know, most definitely, you guys already know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be right here at In Your House doing my thing. Of course, all my handles have changed. It's Alakan House, on X and, on IG. It's just me giving y'all me. That's what I'm good at doing, is giving y'all the real me. And that's who y'all are getting, is the real me. So, putting it all out there, and, out there on Facebook, it is Alakan, the Concept House, and once again, me, all me. And that's what we give you here at this podcast that you can follow. That's In Your House, and that's HOWSE, and the W will always stand for work. So for my guys here, the Voice, Josh Joseph, for the world's most dangerous podcaster, Paragon, for Hypocrisy Jones. This one is, of course, for my man, Nick Koupal. Rest in peace. One more time, we're going to get down. We're going to have a little dance party for him. I'm going to say his name for you, Nick. I believe in Joe Hendry.
When Jones left, he took the Joe with him.
He took it with him. Then we on our own.
Amen. He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Say, oh, we hope. Say, oh, we hope. Oh, we hope. Oh, we hope. Oh, we hope. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Guys, have a great rest of your week. Hey.
Joe Hendry. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry.